I'm like the salmon that tried to jump up the stream and ended up on a rock and got eaten by a bear. You guys did make it to the spawning grounds and you all mated, you had kids, and then floated down the river and turned red and died. You guys did the cycle of life.
Oh,
How
I
does
don't
is
that
that
think
what
I
happened?
floated down the river and turned red and died yet.
I just smell that way.
I'm here with Snippins, John, Gil, and today we're talking parenting with friends who love to give each other the business. I tried to jump up the waterfall, but I fell like I flippity flopped and fell on a rock, right? And then just tried to get back up and I
Flippity flop and
then a
fell on a
bear
rock.
then a bear came and ate me. That's
It
what happened.
sounds just like a nursery rhyme. A flippity flop, I fell on a rock, and a bear came up and ate me.
I ended up having children before I understood how to be, like a human. So I feel really bad for them. I apologize for them a lot.
Oh yeah, I had a kid when I was 17.
The saddest thing is maybe a year and a half ago. So I have this thing where like I go to bed at 10 and then between 10 and 11 I watch TikToks. This woman comes on and in the space of a minute and 45-second TikTok, she tells me everything about parenting that I never knew. And that made me really want to jump out of a window. I mean, that was really devastating to go, oh, well, that's what the job is. And I had no idea. And if there's any job, maybe you should at least know what you're supposed to do. Even if you're going to screw it up, I would say it's child raising. Pretty
That's
sad.
why I sterilized myself.
Jesus.
I ought have. I ought have. I
Yeah.
ought have been caged if we're honest. I ought to have been caged and they should have just said, keep away from women
I
because it's
had
not going
one
to do any
child
good.
and I said, no, this is not for me.
My children are the only thing I did that was worth it. I mean, everything else is going to be, dust. So
Snippins, your son is 30. It's not like he's 6. It's over. You did the thing.
But I've been fixed for quite a while.
Well,
God
you're not
bless
gonna be you're not gonna have kids now.
Well, hell no, I'm not gonna have kids. I can't.
Yes, I'm aware of the hot
Every
flashes.
time I have surgery, they're like, "Are you positive you're not pregnant?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
you.
Well, nature finds a way, Snippins, as Jurassic Park once said so eloquently.
I don't think it's possible.
I don't mean for you specifically, I just mean in general. As far as parenting, what is the worst parenting thing that you guys have ever done that you're mildly guilty for?
Are you
All of
talking
it.
about from ignorance or are you talking about maliciousness or are you talking about negligence? I mean, what are you talking about here?
Well, there's all kinds of guilt. I have an ethnic mother, and they're
Whoa.
masters of guilt. There are many wonderful forms of guilt. I mean, it doesn't really matter which one it is.
I didn't know what I was supposed to do. So, I mean, I didn't do anything to harm my children.
I mean,
I mean, in my mind, I mean, I may have spanked one or two of them once or twice. I may have said occasional thoughtless things. As they said in Pulp Fiction, we all got into this with the best of intentions. Didn't quite work out that way because I didn't know what I was doing. But I didn't harm them, I mean, and I cared for them. I mean, literally took care of them. I just didn't know how. It's exactly the same as if I built a house. I mean, I could build a house and I'm sure there would be some good things about it. And I was always intending to build the proper house. But given what I know about engineering, carpentry, electricity, and plumbing, I have no business building a house. And that's the same thing for me about my parenting.
But if
Right?
everyone went into parenting like that, no one would be a parent.
Which would probably be preferable. I mean, I find it astonishing that you need a license to drive a motor vehicle, but anyone can have a baby. I think that's socially incredibly irresponsible.
But
I
is
need to
it
go to school to learn how to drive or jump out of an airplane. If I
You
knock some
need a
woman up,
therapist.
we're mommy and daddy suddenly.
You're gonna run
You
them
know
right out of a job.
yeah,
who?
therapists
The
require
therapists.
yeah,
I have
therapists
no problem with that. I'm not opposed to that. Here, there's no therapy. People just go to the monk.
really?
I mean, there's some. I'm sure there's some. In fact, mental health, the whole thing is like not a thing in Asia. So, like now in Korean dramas, they try to feature a therapist because they just want to tell people it's okay. You can go to a therapist. You can have mental problems. Because in Korea, everybody's killing themselves and nobody's having children. Right. So the
Jesus.
population is
This is
totally plummeting.
a dark episode.
So this woman comes on this TikTok and she goes, my friend came over to me the other day and she goes, I really wish that my kids were more my friends. I have a hard time
Oh
being
God,
friends
no.
with my kid.
You don't.
The woman says to her, she goes, I have no interest in being friends with my kid. My job is to take care of my children until I teach them how to take care of themselves. My job is to clean up after my children until I teach them how to clean up after themselves. My job is to cook for my children until I teach them how to cook for themselves. My job is to financially provide for my children until I teach them how to do that successfully for themselves. Once they've learned all those things, how to take care of themselves, how to feed themselves, how to provide for themselves, then I'm happy to be their friend.
That's why I
have
have a
no
30-year-old that is not friends with me
Good
because
for
I
you.
still have to send him money.
My kids love me, right? But I did not equip them, especially emotionally. I mean, one of the lessons that my kids learned from my marriage was I'm never getting married and I'm never having kids. And that's true for all of them, and they're in their 30s. At least I dissuaded them from repeating my mistakes.
Pouring gasoline on myself and lighting it on fire. Gil, you have your chitlins.
Yeah.
What are you
Yours are young.
What are
They're
you
adorable.
teaching your chitlins?
You know,
Computers?
yeah, I teach them computers. I teach them
I think they're teaching him computers.
chemistry. No, it's true. Teach them.
Gil, you look much better without a beard.
When did I have a beard?
You had a beard a few times ago. You look much younger without a beard.
Oh,
I don't
man,
think
I got to
that-
shave.
he just didn't shave and it's like white.
Oh.
He does that.
No, because he looked like what did you say? He looked like the guy with the nails, the long spiky things on his hands.
Jesus?
Wolverine.
Oh, the guy from Freddy Krueger.
No, Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Oh, Wolverine.
Yeah. What am I teaching the kids? Gosh. We only want them to wash themselves, eat, and sleep.
That's it.
That's pretty much it. They're already smarter than me. I defer to them all the time.
And Boney's no kid. No kids? Is that correct?
Oh.
Okay.
Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
Gil,
Yes.
do you know anything about land for sale in Georgetown County?
Why do you want to go to Georgetown County?
Because I want to live in the country. I'm
Oh,
tired
okay.
of the city life.
Well, when you're ready, let me know. There's plenty of country around here.
I want Georgetown County,
Let me
and
see where it is.
it's like north of Charleston.
Zillow will give you pretty good searches that way for land for sale.
I
Or
want
who
to see how
buys
close it
just
is to
land.
me. That's the important part.
You're over. We want to be over by the coast. You're over by the.
All right.
Robbie needs to be in the ocean. He's a little
Oh my
thick.
God, Georgetown's all the way over here. Oh, you're very close to a Bitcoin ATM in Georgetown.
Okay.
Let me see. You got the Buzz Roost. You got Eve's Caribbean Soul Food, Georgetown Country Courthouse. You'll be spending
I don't
a lot
want to
of
live
time
in
there, no doubt.
Georgetown. I want to live in Georgetown County.
Okay, Georgetown County. Look at this.
But none of them really have as refined a search as I would like to have. I looked at it a couple times. Although
If you're
I would
just looking
never
for
look back.
land, it's not.
Zillow's not great for land. Zillow's better
Yeah.
for houses.
It actually is pretty good. It actually, I kind of played around with it. And again, I follow a woman who does this. You know, she buys land, improves it a little bit, and sells it. And she's on her 5th property, and she swears by Zillow. I'm ignorant. I'm just saying. I just kind of that's what she said, and I did a quick search and immediately remembered that I would never live in America again. I don't even want to be buried there. I tried it in 2019 and couldn't get out fast enough.
But see, like Rob had a lot of people that lived in India and lived there for like decades. And then the government, everybody's becoming so nationalist that now they have to leave they can only be there 6 months out of the year. And these are people that built homes and lived there full time for like 30 years or more. And now
Same
they have
in
to be
China.
gone for 6 months of the year.
Same in China. And interestingly, the 2 countries that are dying immediately, Japan and Korea, they're still almost impossible to live in. And there's lots of TikToks about all these abandoned houses everywhere in Japan because nobody ever wants to move into a house. They always want to build a new one. So if they buy a property, they'll tear down the old house and build a new one. And so there's all these, and everybody wants to live in Tokyo or Osaka. So there's all this empty land, but the Japanese, last year, the number of permanent residence visas that the Japanese approved was 2,500. 2,500. Meantime, their population declined by almost 400,000. So, not a winning
Moved
strategy.
to like Panama.
Panama was nice. I had a friend that I met in this organization I used to hang out in who lives there, and he invited me down there, and it's lovely. It's really nice. Speak English, use dollars. Public
Mhm.
transportation kind of sucks, but otherwise, if you want to buy a car, Panama's nice. Cost of living is not as bad as Costa Rica.
I think
It's just lovely.
Panama is like half as much as, well, it depends on where you are in the US, but it's like half as much as here.
Oh, look.
Having a massive crisis now too, because canal revenues are almost zero because of a drought. The canals are, and that's their source of income. Canals. Too.
$100,000.
If you want something coastal in South Carolina, that's not going to be cheap.
Dude, I think you should all move here.
I mean, it's just a piece of land. It has septic, and you can just tap into the water at the street.
Sometimes the power, they'll put electricity to your front of your property, and sometimes they won't. I've
Well,
already
there's a
been
house
looking.
right in front of it, so I'm sure there's electricity right there.
Yeah, but sometimes they do, and it's $100,000 a foot.
I follow a lot of these guys on YouTube and TikTok. Sometimes in America, yeah, one guy paid $50,000 to just have them run it right to the front of his land. So he's going to have to run the entire rest of the electrical stuff there, just to run that there. Not even a box, just a conduit with like a cable coming out of it. And that's it, 50,000. And for water, I think it can be harder.
Well, there's water at the street.
That's the thing. It's just you just have to know. I mean,
Well,
will
sometimes
they
you
do it or
also-
won't they do it?
Also, like if the soil is wrong, they'll say septic, but then you can't put in a septic system.
No, they
because-
said there already is a septic system on the property.
Yeah, which is awesome. It's incredibly cool if it's functional.
Oh, who knows?
This couple in Idaho could not get water to their property, so they've had to engineer a water reclamation system on their property.
till you fall into a septic pit and you're covered in a thin layer of human poops. So I have tallied our votes, and feel free to write in the comments section who you think is never right in this episode.
Guys, I got a log.
You got poop?
Yeah, I got a log right here.
That's
No,
what I thought. That's exactly what crossed my mind.
Got a lot
I
in
gotta-
it.
I'm so
gotta
happy I
get-
didn't have to say it.
Well,
I miss you,
thank
Gil.
It was great. We'll see you guys soon.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you want more content from the Never Right podcast.